originally born in Tehran, Iran. I moved to the States when I was 5 with my mother back in 1990. I initially grew up my first year here in Baltimore, Maryland, and then we moved to Las Vegas where I pretty much grew up, and then came back to Maryland, and I've been rooted here ever since. And so, coming from that culture and background where women are judged for just about everything that they do, I decided to live my life as a strong woman who wanted to live outside of the box, no matter what people thought. And so, not only did I become a tattoo artist, which is extremely rare for someone in my culture as a woman, but I also became a motorcyclist, and I decided to ride sport bikes. Shoot guns, and I'm a big gun advocate, very pro-gun. But yeah, I like to do things that are out of the norm, like, for example, work on my own bikes as far as mechanic goes, and understand things that really benefit me later on in life in order to not be really dependent on anybody. I've always loved to work with my hands, and so I pursued that in every different aspect and area that I could. And so as a Persian woman who is tattooed, bodily modified, I'm proud of the life that I chose. I'm proud of deciding to live for me and not really caring what others have to say about it or think about it. That's really none of my business at the end of the day. It is not my business what anyone has to say and or think of me. It is not going to change me. It's not going to affect who I am and or what I do. That affects other people and it influences other people. I've always been a black sheep from the very get-go. I was always a black sheep. I never liked to abide by anyone's rules, anyone's regulations. I never wanted to fit in. I never did fit in. And I was okay with that. And so as I grew, as I became more refined as a woman, I learned to love myself and accept myself and learn to live for myself, not really caring what anybody thought. My mother, God bless her, she was completely okay with just supporting me in just about everything I did. I didn't, unfortunately, have the greatest relationship with my father, but having a supportive mother truly made up for all of that, and having amazing people who I believe the universe and God have sent me throughout my life have really been figures that have supported me enough to really gain what I needed to as a woman to pursue this life that I have. You know, it's funny and sad at the same time, because some people will chase the ends of the world to find happiness, not knowing it's literally right there and they have the key to open the door at any given time. If I had to explain and describe what happiness is for me, which nobody could rip my happiness away from me, because my happiness does not rely on anyone, anything, any place, and or anywhere. A lot of that I have to thank my mother for, because she supported me. She supported my dream. She backed me up no matter how much it broke her heart or she felt I wasn't getting anywhere with it, but she supported me. And I remember my father was the exact opposite. Even though he wasn't a big part of my life and or being in my life, but I remember he always shunned me for my art. If it wasn't something that he liked in particular, he would make me feel like shit about it. He would belittle me. He would just make me feel horrible. And later on, you know, at that age, of course, you don't understand these things. And you just see that anger. But later on, I realized my father struggled from a childhood that was even worse than what I was handed. He had to grow up with a mentality in a generation where he wasn't understood. He had to grow up with his own hardships. And so if you're a parent to a creative child, support that, nurture that. It is like a flower, and unless you are watering it and giving it sunlight and love, it is not going to grow. You telling your child who is artistic and has a potential to either sing, dance, cook, sew, anything, if you see that they are good at something, support that. Even in my family, you know, I had multiple different family members come up to me, and like I remember at one point we were in like this mall. It was me, my mother. I won't mention the different members of my family member, but there were at least like a couple of different cousins. My aunt was there, but you know, it's just, they were telling me like, you gotta go to school, you have to continue school, you gotta go to college, you're not gonna make money with your art. And like, I just felt bullied, you know, because it was the one thing that I loved. Art was just the one thing in my life where I felt that I would excel in more than anything else. It's what I would literally do for hours upon hours willingly every day and not get tired of. And that's when you know you have a purpose, when you love to do something and you don't get tired of it. They say if you love what you do, you don't ever have to work a day in your life. And that's how I feel. You know, a dear friend of mine asked, like, what is the one thing that you do for at least 10 hours straight and not get tired of? And I was like, tattooing. I can tattoo or do graphic art or paint or work on creating something for hours on end and not get tired of it. I'll get exhausted physically, but do I want to stop? No. Like I literally work until I can't no more, and that's how much I love it.
Hello, my name is Zoe, and I'm here at Gemini Studios getting my third session for the lovely arm piece tattoo that you see here. Her skills are incredible. Her shading work, her use of color, and her freehand skills give her a creativity and flexibility to adapt a piece to exactly what I was after, and really helped kind of workshop it with me.
You know, I had members tell me, you're not gonna make money with art. And so going back to that, I remember in the back of my mind, screaming, watch me. And I worked and I struggled and I worked and I sweat and I bled and I worked and I suffered, cried myself to sleep some nights until I got a break. Don't listen to what anybody has to say. The people who are for you are going to support you and push you in making sure you achieve your dreams. The people who tell you you can't, you're not going to be able to, you're not going to get there, oh, it's not worth it, they are not your friends, get rid of them. Put them to the side. They are just a distraction. At the end of the day, no one will love you as hard as you love you. No one will push you as much as you can push yourself. No one is going to support you as much as you support yourself. So put aside the people who don't see you getting further. Put aside the people who don't want to see you grow. Focus on yourself. I learned that solitude, absolute solitude became my best friend. It helped me discover myself. It helped me motivate myself to reach my dreams. It helped me to sit down and work harder. Did it suck? Yes. Was it worth it? Absolutely. So I chose to name my business Gemini Studios, not in the zodiac sense, even though I am a Gemini, proudly. But Gem in eye goes back to the third eye and your pineal gland and the source of all creativity and insight. And being an artist who is diverse on multiple different levels and platforms of art, from performance art. 2D, graphic art, tattoo art. It was a way to really express the purpose of my business in the title, and so I thought that it would be a perfect fit, which it is, and that's where the background of that comes from. Came into this place, it looked nothing like what it is now. It used to be an old boxing ring, and so the place was just a mess. And you know, after renovations were done, the color was up. I pretty much came in and I started putting up the mural. This piece in particular here took me at least a good solid 80 hours. And as far as the elements that I've chosen them, the reason there's two snakes is because it represents the duality of my Gemini nature. I call myself the ultimate Gemini, and so you know, it really represents the darker nature in me, the fact that I am just a fierce person overall. And the geisha, in a way, represents me being guarded by the two snakes. And so, I don't know, it was what came to my mind at the time. And so, yeah, it still needs a little bit of work, but getting through it all, it's a lot of work, But yeah, so the lotuses really represent new life blossoming. You know, it's one of the only flowers that really doesn't have any way to protect itself, no thorns, really just there in the water. And so it's the more balanced, peaceful part of me. And of course, you know, the serpent, it's just that, even though I'm an air sign, it's just that fiery nature. And so, yeah, that's really the story behind it all. You have 80 hours of work here and probably at least another 50 to 60 hours on both parts, maybe a little bit less than that, but the geisha has been taking me forever. And if you can see, there's so much detail within the lines. And so, yeah, a few more hours and hopefully it'll be done with. Tattooing isn't just a livelihood to me. It's really not. It's a big bonus in it all, but it's a very intimate form of art. At the end of the day, someone is paying you to inflict pain upon them to make a permanent body change, you know, and it's just profound. During these tattoos, a lot of people, you know, spill and pour their hearts out. They tell you some of their most profound memories and experiences. Some people come to get tattoos to commemorate somebody's loss, people who have lost their children, their parents, their loved ones in general. And so, you know, they sit and they tell you these stories that welcome you into some of the most heartfelt moments of their life. And to me, that's just, you know, there's nothing that can really compare to that. It really isn't.
The thing that really drew me to Gela above all the other artists I was getting consults with is her work with curves. So I've looked at her portfolio. She does a lot of work with serpents, with smoke, with tentacles, with mermaid tails, and all of those have this really amazing curvature to them, and she can freehand these beautiful curves that really add motion and dimensionality to her pieces. So it was that particular skill that really caught my eye, and that and just her general portfolio and her fantastic range of skills, not just tattoos, but to the mural that she's working on behind me.
Thank you for everybody who tuned in to watch my documentary and this special on me as an artist, my life, and everything that I do and what I'm passionate about. I want to send a huge, major shout out to AK Films and Alex for making all of this possible. And honestly, I don't know a whole lot of people that put the amount of detail and time into creating the way he does. So I owe this all to him. Thank you, Alex. Love you, man. Gemini Studios is in the heart of Fells Point, located at 1924A Fleet Street, Baltimore, Maryland, just a hop, skip, and a jump away from Harbor East. You can pretty much contact me on my Instagram, which is gem.in.eye.studios, and or on Facebook at Gemini Studios and Gallery. I respond to DMs as well as emails, and so if you're looking for a new piece that is customized and individualized for you with a service that really makes you feel at home, and a piece that is done with love and quality in mind, I would be honored and happy to give you a piece of my heart and soul with a piece of my art.